from Onapito Ekomoloit, who's not in here. He was on the show with Chris, discussing about the media. But Chris is here. Harriet and Timothy has now joined us. Chris.
Let me give the lady first. Because
he's being a gentleman for a change.
Two specific incidents. One was the police groping of Ingrid. The second was the protest of those unions. What do you make of it? What do you make of the two incidents? What do they say?
I'm a gentleman. Let the lady speak first.
Okay, the police groping of Ingrid's breast was a barbarity. It was brutal. It was uncalled for, and it was so outrageous. Watching that thing on TV, I felt that woman's pain, because I know the pain
How?
The men in here shouldn't tell us.
I know the pain that comes with breast being.
Harriet, the question has been, and Nicholas pointed it out very clearly.
Yeah.
Women get groped all over the place, in the taxi park, in the other place. That woman who was stripped naked.
That shouldn't be a justification, Charles. This is a police officer who is mandated under the Constitution and the Police Act to uphold the rights of suspects. So there's no way we can say because women are groped all over the place that police officer was justified to do so. The women who protested following that act, in a Choli culture, when a woman undresses before her children, it's a curse. That's the
I think that cuts across the continent or the country.
Okay, yeah. So a previous incident last week was when 50 women stripped before Madvani officials over the Moro land. That is aside from it. But comparing the two incidences, the issue behind a woman stripping is not for the sheer fun of it, of flashing boobs around. It's the pain behind that act that makes them do so. And if the police officers know or understand, or if the authorities concerned know the message those women were sending across, they should have got it. That it's very humiliating, it's very inhuman to treat a woman like that. Actually, that was sexual harassment.
Chris, you take on this. These two incidents.
Yeah, first of all, if we bring the issue of market, fondling women, touching their bums, their breasts, to this, then we miss the point. In most cases, it is my brother here, the Bazung, who think a man touching you is sexual harassment. For us, it's just a joke, it's a fun. It could be a sign that you're admiring the woman. So you cannot compare it.
No way.
That's easy to say as a man, but you're not putting yourself in a woman's shoes. Come on. That's insensitive. It's convenient for you to say that, Chris. Let the woman speak. Let the woman speak.
I am trying to make a point. I've listened to you. I'm becoming like frogs in a leg.
Very sexist, masculine.
So I'm telling you why you should not marry the two. So you can choose to ignore the one of market and really pay attention to the one of Ingrid. Because you can think that man either is poorly brought up. Maybe in their family, playing with women is a problem. For us in Karamoja, courtship means struggling with a woman.
You come from Karamoja, you come from Teso.
What are you talking about? You want to take me to the history.
Presenting yourself.
Chris, even the...
If you don't know certain historical facts, you live with them. Anybody who's a Karamojong knows what I'm saying. So, in that culture, courtship means you struggle. If you put her down, then you have become a man. You can protect her. So, but in his culture, you can say that was molesting a woman. So it can pass. But when it comes to state officials, Ingrid was on a political function. And what she was doing, she represented a particular group. However, incorrect you may look at it, it is within her right to practice her political activism.
Then everybody has a right to dignity, though, and her dignity was stripped from her.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And that cuts across cultures, that everybody should have the right to
I think that you're agreeing, Eugene.
I think you're agreeing with me.
I don't know. The context is different, from what Nicholas talked about of the women in the market and the rest, and other places with the Ingrid case.
The Ingrid case. So it's a different case. We don't expect police to do that because Ingrid was going to address a rally, and it's within her right to address a rally. So you go and actually, not even groping. He was talking to milk the breasts. Maybe we should have given her a milk can. Because the force he was using, and the man was actually inflicting pain on her. So you cannot compare that to this fondling in the taxi park. So that's where the difference comes in. And that's why we must condemn
Chris,
what the police was doing.
But
Chris, you've misunderstood what I have said.
No, I'm coming to exactly what you are saying now. Why the inequality thing? Where I want to agree with you that it is because of what they represent.
Yes.
But again, I want to say, Angelo submitted saying that the context in which these women also went topless was wrong. It is not.
No, I
You
said
see?
no. Don't put words in my mouth.
You're
I
saying
said
you're
that
supposed
the-
to curse.
I said that the media covered this story in a very sensationalist way, and I gave you my arguments as to why the context was questionable.
Exactly.
And
So-
wait, Chris, let me also qualify mine.
Eh.
And my argument of bringing in the taxi park and all that is that I'm trying to tell Angelo that the reason why that story came out is the political force that is behind that story. It's not the moral
And it's
issues.
exactly what I'm saying. Charles,
All the
it
cultural.
doesn't matter how people should protest what they see as injustices. To see these women going topless, you may look at it as indecent, but it's not.
It's not.
These women could choose to walk naked. Because how covered are they anyway when their children have no jobs, when their hospitals have no medicine, when their families have no meals? They literally naked in a way. Putting on the clothes doesn't mean they are safe. They would rather say, this is how naked we are. So you don't bring morality to that. When
It was
they are
activism, pure and
Yeah,
simple.
it is pure activism. They can even walk to a police station naked without anything.
Well, in that
It's
case,
within their
we can
right.
ask the question
but
then
it's
to
also
qualify,
brutality.
yeah.
Even when we talk about brutality, sometimes I don't know whether how we see things this separately. For now, we have said the police is brutal. Right, we are seeing them because we see the uniform. It is the state which is brutal. I have seen.
But the police is part of the state.
Listen, what we don't know even, the police you see, which police are you talking about? The military is more brutal than the police. The military has been withdrawn. The military operates under the cover of police. We have seen these things Charles, happening. You covered Black Mamba.
But
Did
by
you
saying
see
that,
the
you're
policeman?
setting pretty low
So,
standards.
What do I
Chris,
say?
you
No,
shouldn't-
no,
I mean,
don't
you're-
even make us
two
lose
wrongs
the
are
point.
right. Come on.
If you continue saying the police, which organ do you think will not become brutal?
But by saying the military are worse, you're hinting that it's okay for the police to do this. I don't think that's
No,
right. Let's
who's-
keep the spotlight
the
on the
point-
police
I'm
because
saying what I'm telling you.
are involved in the
Chris,
issue
Chris,
we're discussing.
Let me step in here.
The point is not saying
The
missing
police
is.
is an institution. If it allows other institutions of the state,
Not just any institution,
To-
to serve and protect.
yes, to come and work through it to give it a bad image, then the police leadership ought to say, you stay out of this, we work on our side. And then we need to analyze what is leadership.
Then again, we miss the point. I don't know which institution works in this country. We have gone back to that idle talk of institutions we know are not there.
But then
There's
let's-
only one institution that works.
Let-
And I've
let's-
kept
let's
saying,
address your
why don't we
concern,
come
though.
out and say the state is brutal and the state is one person? Why does all these actions? Because I've talked to police officers. There are police officers who are more concerned about what is going on than even ourselves. But they find themselves in a situation where they are unable to express their feelings the way we
Chris, I
do.
don't think that should
I'm
be
telling
an
you.
excuse.
No, that can't be an excuse.
It is.
Absolutely
It
has-
cannot be an
It
excuse.
is because they are
I think that
directives.
no, the argument that has been going on is that there are a few rotten eggs in the police.
But it's more than that, it's pervasive.
Which is not absolutely true, because you can find that the actions they do, the brutality they met on civilians is far-fetched. So we can't
I want to
be
explain
covering.
away
For me,
Harriet.
my
Harriet's
concern-
pervasive
uh,
abuse.
Gentlemen, I need to bring
Pervasive.
Timothy into this discussion. My concern is the graduation from what we have seen over a period of time.
This
Initially,
man is on
even
the
the
road, I was
intensity-
with Charles.
Oh,
He
yes.
saw the army took over police control and unleashed the venom on the people. I was with you.
Yes, we
Today
were.
you are saying the police,
No, no, no,
we are
because-
letting things in isolation. It is the
Let's
state
make
is
your
just becoming
point,
naked.
Charles.
Just like Chris said, Chris, you said there are policemen who are more concerned about what is going on. It hurts them. There are also members of the military, of intelligence agencies that feel that same way.
So where is the problem?
That's why we need to.
That's
fight.
what I'm saying.
But Timothy, I'd like you to come into discussion. Angelo argued here and said the media sensationalized that story. Was there sensationalization of that Ingrid story?
Well, I don't know, but
this man here actually argued that it was politicized.
No.
Angelo,
Angelo,
don't-
before you
don't-
run away
don't
from your
be-
contribution.
No, my
Yes,
contribution
let
is
him
solid,
have his take.
but Tim didn't hear my argument.
that's
Yes.
what did you
He
say?
said that
Yeah,
the media
because
sensationalized the
because Charles
You
is
did
Charles
say
is
that.
making a leading statement here, and I need to counter.
Angelo has come to
my
cover
kind
this
side.
debate.
He's getting
He didn't
You know,
know.
right? Yeah, because I want to address the hypocrisy of Ugandans. My arguments
Of the
were
media,
two,
not
you know,
Ugandans,
right?
eh?
Because first of all, that's because you fed Ugandans on one side of that story.
There were two sides to
But get
that
back to
story.
Charles's
There was
question.
the hand of a
Go
police
to Tim.
officer
Continue the
grappling a breast of a woman.
Those are two sides.
There was
Milking a
one-
woman.
There was one story that this was a brutal act, you know, right, of a police gone mad.
But okay,
But
let Tim give us his side.
Yeah.
Let's not bias Tim.
Yes,
You
don't
tell
bias
us.
Tim.
Tell us.
Tim,
I
tell
know,
us
let's
what
not bias Tim.
Tim, you saw the coverage of this story. Was it sensationalized by the media?
But that's a leading question.
No.
Yes,
No,
yes,
no,
yes,
no, no.
yeah.
No,
You know,
But once again, okay, before I answer that, again, it's back to what we termed in week's news. Must we, I mean, this narcissism, must we discuss the media's coverage of the story or discuss the story in others?
Exactly.
To the nation.
Go ahead.
No, how was the angle? We thought that the camera light wasn't nice. The media is the one, the Monitor in particular, ran the series of photos of the Black Mamba. The Angels basically broke the story that showed what we call the Black Mamba was really, I mean, what we saw as police officers were Black Mamba.
Exactly.
The Monitor
military
ran the
men.
same series of, the action, so-called blow by blow of Kizza Besigye being assaulted last year. So this was the tip, what is now becoming like a Monitor trait. You get some footage, and then it's almost exportable. The effect has been achieved. I mean, was it yesterday? The BBC lunchtime, the 2 p.m. World Have You Say program was about the Ingrid Tunawe assault. How can the media sensationalize that? It was just a story. I would imagine that
We didn't send a man to touch the woman's breast.
it is one of those things. It is a good piece of investigation. It began well with the Black Mamba story, and really from that point onward, Monitor specialized in those, stories that we seem to have missed. And then like 4 days later, you go back and say, these photographers, have you noticed? The New Vision accidentally did it recently. Kabakoma Masiko appearing in the camp of President Museveni. Those sorts of things help us to. What they do is the next time when they publish, we start reading further in between lines. But as I say, why should we be discussing whether the media blew it out of proportion? Goodness knows that what the government is doing is 10 times worse than the media can sensationalize. Focus on what Chris is saying, the institution, the one-man institution, with the brutality. And as Chris is saying, please get away from these generic stories of the police came to ABC. Charles, you know that's not the police. You know it is what you call the army dressed up as PGB. You know that people who drive those police, the lead cars in the president's convoy, are not policemen. Those are soldiers. So
and it hurts the ordinary
hurts the policeman to be.
The other thing what Angelo was saying, which not miss Timothy, where I think Angelo is right, is that the previous case of brutality, Charles even has death certificates, but now there are no profiles. What's happening? So he's saying if we are covering brutality, how far do we go? Or we just end up with the one which is now.
You don't land on
Yeah,
the piece of
I was making an important
Put it in the
cultural
newspaper
argument.
immediately.
Charles,
about
this is
the,
a wonderful opportunity,
about
though,
activism and the
to
hypocrisy.
actually reflect on how abusive the police have become. Chris, you're right to point out that there are some good officers serving, but there are many who are not. Let's face it. The police's job is to serve and protect, and what I'm hearing from Chris is he's serving and protecting the police. So there's a bit of an irony there. Look, I want to bring up one example. I was down in Owino Market to give you an idea just how
I didn't give you
sexist.
the last statement. How is Chris serving and protecting the police?
Well, he's basically saying most of them are good and there's a few bad seats.
No, he's drawing a distinction
I would
between.
but
disagree with
But
that.
the story
I-
there, John,
I would
is
agree
about the
with Chris.
militarization of the police.
That's the
Yes.
story. I think my brother, you are not picking this thing right. What I'm telling you, first of all, where I've reached, there is no police officer today who can come and say, because I've been told to go and arrest Timothy, who has not committed no crime, I'm resigning, and still go to his home. It is not America. So some of them are working under duress. Go and arrest. You go and arrest.
Mention it in a blog.
Yeah,
don't
but,
take it
you're kind of making...
The policemen have to take drugs to go and
You're
work.
giving leeway. You're holding them to very low standards.
Because
and
there
that's
is
the problem.
command.
But don't
Doesn't
mistake.
matter. There was
don't
command in
mistake Chris's
Nazi
analysis
Germany.
for advocacy.
Listen,
That's what I'm saying.
there was command in Nazi Germany.
Sounds like
Okay?
No,
Do you
first
follow
of all, you have
bad
to understand the
instructions?
context within which the police is operating.
Gentlemen and ladies, we need to take the break.
We need to hold the police to
can-
higher
can-
standards and not make
We need
excuses
to
for them.
hold the police to higher standards, but we don't need to condemn every officer who wears police uniform.
I made that distinction early on.
Yes.
I said there are some good officers
Because
working,
there are
but
many-
let's not
there
make
are many good
excuses for the
officers
force.
out there.
They're bad and getting worse.
No,
Let's
you're
take a
making
break.
a political
Who is
statement,
that?
John. You're
Let's
not
get
analyzing anything.
Exactly.
Let's take the break.
How am I not analyzing something?
Because Chris was saying that look, we know.